Hello students, today we'll be learning about the chapter number 6 from your geography book, Major Landforms of the Earth. This is a chapter you are very well familiar with, so let's get into it. In this video, we'll be looking at the landforms, the mountains, the types of mountains. So what is a landform? A landform is a natural feature of the solid surface of the Earth. The Earth has an infinite variety of landforms. Some examples of these landforms include the mountains, plateaus, and plains. Within the Earth, a continuous movement is taking place. The first, or the internal process, leads to the upliftment and the sinking of the Earth's surface at several places. The second is the external process. It is the continuous wearing down and rebuilding of the land's surface. The wearing away of the Earth's surface is called erosion. Erosion results in lowering of the Earth's surface. It is carried out by various agents like wind, water, and ice. The deposition of materials results in rebuild of the Earth's surface. It also results in the surface getting elevated. Wind and water are the main agents of deposition. Now that we know what landforms are and how they are formed, let us move on to the first landform that we'll be studying today, the mountains. A mountain is any natural elevation of the Earth's surface. It may have a small summit and a broad base. It is considerably higher than the surrounding areas. Some monuments are even higher than the clouds. The climate becomes colder when we go higher. In some mountains, there are permanently frozen rivers of ice. These frozen ice are known as glaciers. There are some mountains which are deep under the sea as well. Mountains may be arranged in a line known as a range. The Himalayas, the Alps, and the Andes are mountain ranges of Asia, Europe, and South America respectively. Mountains vary in their heights and shapes as well. After knowing all of these details about mountains, what do you think? Is it favorable for the people to live on the mountains? How is the population on mountains? Owing to the harsh and extreme climate, less people live in the mountain areas. The steep slopes that are present on the mountains makes it less favorable for the people to build houses, or even the land is not available for farming. Similarly, the roads are also very difficult to build. These are some of the reasons why less people live on the mountains. Moving on to the types of mountains. There are three types of mountains: fold mountains, block mountains, and volcanic mountains. First up is the fold mountains. When a tectonic plate gets pressured from two sides, it gets folded. Some of its portion becomes elevated and forms the mountains. The depression form the valleys, and the Himalayas, Andes, and the Alps are some examples of the fold mountains. To understand this concept of fold mountains better, you can make a fold mountain yourself. All you require is a pile of paper. Put the papers on your table. Push the papers from both sides by your hand. The sheet will be folded and rise into a peak. There you have a mountain. The fold mountains are made in the same way. The block mountains are created when large areas are broken and displaced vertically. The uplifted blocks are termed as horsts, and the lower blocks are called graben. The Rhine Valley and the Vosges Mountains in the Europe are examples of such mountain systems. The next and the last type of mountain for us is the volcanic type of mountain. The volcanic mountains are formed due to the volcanic eruptions. It happens when the molten rock or magma under the Earth's surface erupts. Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa and Mount Fujiyama in Japan are examples of such mountains. We saw how difficult the life on mountains can be. But it is not all bad. The mountains are very useful for us. The mountains are a storehouse of water. Many rivers have their source in the glaciers in the mountain. The river Ganga, which is one of the most important river systems in our country, also originates from the glaciers in the mountains. The reservoirs are made and the water is harnessed for the use of the people. Water from the mountains is also used for irrigation and generation of hydroelectricity. The river valleys formed by the rivers in this region and the terraces which are found on the mountains are ideal for cultivation. The mountains are very rich in the flora and fauna. They provide us with many forest produce. The mountains are an ideal tourist spot. With this, we come to the end of this video. In the next video, we'll be looking at two other landforms, which are plateaus and plains. We'll also look into how the people live in these different landforms. Thank you.